palmistry reading of a 26-year-old person. He's a male, and we are basically reading his particular hand. There are lots of worries parents have, and they want to know how uh, their their sons and daughters are going to basically fare in their lives. So we'll be talking about this particular aspect. And before I start the reading, I would request you to press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update. You can also get a reading from me. You can call me or you can email me. These are the email and the phone number that are mentioned out here. Now we straight away head to this particular hand image that we have in front of us. He is a 26-year-old person. So the first thing that we would be talking about is the headline. The headline is basically the line of thought process line. This is an important line. See, each and every line are important lines, but uh, we can see success or failure or troubles or any kind of things on almost all possible lines. Money line is basically this. This is the money line going towards the Mercury Mount is basically the money line. But money line is important, but it is not as important as people make out to be. So try to understand even in terms of how much money we will be making in our life is only 10-15% that we can see on the money line. It's not, we can't see every aspect of the money on the money line itself. As such, if you take a look at the money line, it is very neat and clean and deep and clear. So in a way, it is good. But there are few aspects that we see on the headline. This is basically the headline, and this is the money line. I'm just going to redraw the money line. So this is basically the money line. So the intersection of the head and the money line is age 35. This is the age 35. So the time on the line of money, the line of fate, this portion of the line is before the age of 35, and this portion of the headline is before the age of 35. So this portion is before the age of 35 on the money, and this portion is uh, before the age of 35 on the line of head. I'm just going to remove so that you can see it much more clearly. So you would notice that there are a few island-like formations out here. Island-like formations just under the finger of Saturn. This is the finger of Saturn. This is the mount of Saturn. And just under it, you would find island-like formation, and the line of head is not clear. So clarity in the headline brings about clarity in your thought processes. So this is one way of looking at it. Now, I have already explained to you this portion is before the age of 35. So before the age of 35 is a very, very important period of our life. So if we are destabilizing during this particular period, so what's going to happen is that it's going to basically affect our career as well. Because if we are going to unnecessarily get troubled, if we are going to create stress and anxiety, because Saturn is a planet for money, but Saturn is also the planet for wisdom and being grounded, all these kind of things. But the negative aspect of the Saturn is depression. And just under the finger of Saturn on the headline, the line of thought process, if you have got an island, basically, what is an island? Try to understand what is an island. Island in a, this is basically a sea, and in between there's a small piece of land. So that is a basically island, and island is basically getting isolated. So the person is getting isolated. So those tendencies are coming into this particular person. So people around him, they should make the effort that such a person doesn't get isolated. They should manage his mind in a such a way that his energies are put all in his work. He has got no time left for anything else, and he should be like advised and somehow promoted to do things that he loves to do. So this is what might bring the person out of depression. uh, Sometimes it's depression, sometimes it's isolation, sometimes it's just mental worry. So don't go by what I'm saying that depression is a big word, so we can't go by that. Uh, so this is one way of looking at during this particular period where these are islands, the money line as such is uh, reasonably good. So now we come back to the money line. Now on the money line, you would notice that this is basically the money line, and this portion is before the age of 35. You'd notice a small branch from the Mount of Moon. This is the Mount of Moon coming and joining the main money line. Then again another branch joins in, and then the third branch basically joins in. So consider the main money line. Consider main money line to be a river. Basically, this is a river. And another tributary, if it basically joins into the main river, so what's going to happen? That there's going to be more flow. So these lines are lines of benefits that the person might get, and the chances of benefits are going to come from the mother and mother's side, or woman, or female, or female side. It could be sister, it could be mother, it could be female friend, it could be foreigner, it could be anybody, it could be a female boss. So those things are likely to benefit this particular person. This is these lines that are joining in, these are considered to be good. One of these lines is not that is touching the main money line somewhere close to the age of 33, 34. It's not actually joining in, it's running, it's almost joining in. So even this is nothing bad, it might join in at a later stage. So these first join is approximately at the age of 27. The second joining is approximately at the age of around 30, and the third is around the age of 33, 34. But before that, you would also notice that there's an inward kind of a line, and these inward kind of a lines are pointing towards the amount of Mars negative. So this could be loss, some kind of a loss that might uh, come to this particular person somewhere close to the age of 32. That's the approximate age. But you need not worry about these things, because profits and losses keep on coming in life. It doesn't matter much. So because in the earlier age we can face these things and basically move ahead in our life. So these are nothing to be too much worried about. But the main worry is on the headline. This is the main worry beyond the age of 35. This portion of the headline is after the age of 35. The intersection, I've already told you, the intersection of the head and the money line, this intersection is age 35. So in the earlier period of the headline, the lines are unclear, but beyond the age of 35, things become better. There's one more good sign that appears to be appearing on the headline. There's an upward curve that's happening from the headline pointing towards the Mount of Mercury. So this is a good line, and this might bring about some amount of jubilation, some amount of good success during that particular period. Headline moving towards the area of Mercury is always good. It brings about success. Success. It could bring about higher education also, more knowledge also. More knowledge basically benefits the person. So this is a good way of looking at it. If we zoom in on the headline before the age of 35, you would also notice few downward kind of lines. These downward kind of lines. So downward lines is the opposite of upward line. Upward lines means benefits, and downward line means disappointment. So these things are basically happening during this particular period, and the island is going to come a little bit at a later stage, somewhere close to the age of approximately 32 to 35. So that is a period that is going to be a very stressful period for this particular person. So this is one part. Now we take a look at the line of life. Now the line of life is basically, this is basically the line of life. In the initial part, you would notice both these lines are joined at the initial start for a long duration of time, the lifeline and the headline. This would bring about some amount of caution, hard work, and consistency also, and contemplating also. So the person is contemplating too many times before finally taking the decision. So this is what basically it means. It just makes a person more cautious and contemplating. Then, as the lifeline basically progresses, you would notice that the line is kind of ending. The line of life is basically ending, but another line is overlapping. So overlapping lines are considered to be, this is the overlapping line of life I've already drawn. So overlapping of lines are considered to be very good lines. What they do is that they bring about success. See how we basically see success or due to overlapping lifeline. I would just draw this area. This is the area of Mars negative. And this is the area of Venus. Venus is the area of desires, and Mars is the area of the fire within us. So let's take the first. I'm just drawing the initial, the first lifeline. The first lifeline is kind of coming like this. And if out here it ends, imagine this line continues. So the natural place the line is going to continue is something like this. So it's making a smaller semicircle of the life. Smaller semicircle means less area to the area of Mars and less area to the area of Venus. But suddenly what happens out here is that suddenly what happens is that the lifeline is ending and then there's a overlap. Overlapping, what it does is that it is increasing the area of Mars. That means increasing the area of the fire within this particular person and increasing the area of the Venus. And Venus is the area of desires. It is the area, desires can be of any kind. Desires can be those personal desires or desire for food, desire for clothes, desire for many things in their life. So it is also the area of stamina and vitality. So something is happening during the age of 35. That's the approximate. The reason why I say this is age 35 is because of this upward line from the headline towards the Mount of Mercury. So this is the reason I would. So this is somewhere close to the age of 35. Things are going to turn around completely for him. So this is one way of looking. And now we take a look at the line of heart. Now this is basically the line of heart. Heart line is ending somewhere close to the first, that means the Jupiter, and the second, that is the finger of Saturn. So it's, I would say, if it ends purely out here, then it's purely Saturnian qualities. The heart line gets purely Saturnian qualities. That would mean purely the person is angling towards money. So somewhere close to the amount of Jupiter, it means idealism and sensitivity as well as materialism as well, because this basically is the area of materialism. The Saturn is the area of materialism. So that's, so people who want money, they should have purely their heartline ending under the amount of Saturn, and that would bring about more money to the particular person. Every businessman, they have a heartline. A businessman or any lawyer or any person from any field, if their heartline ends under the amount of Saturn, that is a sure shot sign of a person making more money. Towards his end, the money line is purely ending under the amount of Saturn. So it's a beautiful line that he has regarding money. Money is not the problem. Problems, one, I've already explained the headline, and the second is basically the heart line. Now, the heart line, what it does is that the ending of the heart line is okay. There's no problem with it, but you'd notice island-like formations out here. The lines are not so clear also. So when the line of heart is not so clear, what it happens is, it might bring about is that it might bring about stress and anxiety into this particular person. So, and palpitation and stress, all these things are likely to come to this particular person. We are taking a look at the left hand now. In the left hand also, you would notice that these island-like formations can be seen on the line of heart. The heart line also depicts our consistency. The heart line, when it is very simple and single, it means highly consistent. But when the line is not so clear, so it might bring about some inconsistency. But at the same time, I would also say that the line is I was just explaining in terms of what it is, but don't be alarmed too much, because it is still not as bad as I've seen in other people's cases. So it's not totally bad that we find that the line is totally bad. But the heart line is of great importance, and heart line, if it is not good, then it might bring about troubles in one's life. That stress and anxiety basically develops, and some elongated periods of emotional stress might also develop. Now on the left hand, left is the passive hand, but we still take a look at the left hand because it is your hand. So it has its importance. So this upward line from the headline moving towards Jupiter, this might bring about high position and honor, and this can be in any field. This is one way. The On the headline, you would notice the downward branches on the headline. This is disappointment before the age of 35. There's an island-like formation out here before the age of 35 and beyond the age of 35 as well. So in the left hand, the troubles are still there beyond the age of 35 to some extent. And if we take a look at the money line, this is the money line. Money line ends before the age of 35, somewhere close to the age of, let's say, approximately 30. But before it ends, there's another line that develops from the line of Mount of Moon. From the Mount of Moon, it means benefits or staying far away from your birthplace. All this is happening, but that too basically ends before the age of 35, somewhere close to the age of approximately 34. Then another line basically starts somewhere close to the age of 33, and that basically touches the headline. Now this age is approximately 35 on the line of money. This too basically ends. Then another basically line starts at the age of 34, 35. There are two lines that start. They are okay. Then again, there's a transformation that's happening somewhere close to out here, and the age out here is approximately the age could be 40. Beyond that, there's a V wire-like formation. This could be a good period. Then as it touches the heart line, the age is 53. So at 53 also few changes are going to take place. Beyond the age of 53, this line is okay. So it's okay. But in the right hand, the line of money is much better than the left hand. But we don't need to basically refer too much on the left hand. We have to basically concentrate on the right hand. This inward kind of a line that you see, this could be losses that I was pointing out in the right hand as well, somewhere close to the age that I was mentioning, and that was approximately 30, 31. That's the approximate age I would say. Uh, so coming back to the right hand, there's a parallel line that is running from on the Mount of Mars parallel to the lifeline. This is the line of protection. So this break that we see on the lifeline, the person is basically protected. So and protection can be of any kind. Protection can be from father, it could be from brothers, it could be some kind of a protection and fighting spirit also that develops somewhere after the age of 35. So that's a good sign to have. And on the sunline, this is basically the sunline. Sunline is not so clear before the age of 35 until the age of around 44, but beyond that it's reasonably okay. But there are multiple lines, so multiple lines are not so considered to be too much good, because the person would try to do too many things. So my advice would be that stick to one thing, and the hand shows certain success in person's life. The presence of the line is basically success, but these lines should be a little bit deeper and clearer. The deeper and clearer lines means much more benefit coming to this particular person. On the Mount of Mercury, there's a perpendicular line. Perpendicular lines is the line for good communication and calculation. So, but there are, apart from that main one line, there are other lines as well, small lines. These are meaningless lines. Each line are basically meaning some set of skills. Even weak line or strong line means some set of skills. Stronger the line means stronger set of skills. Weaker the line, the person is not sharpening their skills. So this line, that the strongest Mercury line that we see, it's a medium type of a line. So medium type of a line would give medium kind of a result, because the person is not sharpening the skills as much as they should be sharpening their skills. These branches on the heart line a little bit means distractions, so the person might get distracted. I was told that the person is practicing law. So for law, this is the area to look for, the area of Mercury. Area for Mercury is good. Area of Mercury whenever good, the chances brighten up for success. And but the heartline is not so good. So anxiety and stress is going to develop. So when you're fighting a case, basically there's also anxiety and stress. So you have to make your physical heart condition much better. That's when the chances for success increases, because stress and anxieties are daily phenomena, and specifically in lawyers it is much more. So you have to basically make your heart much more healthy. The healthier the heart, the more the chances you would be able to handle your stress. So in all, I would say a reasonably good hand, specifically the money line, is excellent. Need not worry about anything. And before I end this particular video, there's a very, very important message that I wish to give out here. That is the main part of the reading. Importance of money line in terms of how much money we will make is just 15%. We can come to know about money from almost all aspects of our hand. It can be your heart line, your headline, your life, sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars, or any other line can tell about money, possessions, and wealth. A saint once said, "You do not need to go to an astrologer or a palmist to know about your future, because you already know your future. Present is the result of past. How will be my future? Future depends upon what you are doing in the present. What are we? We are product of our thoughts. So the thoughts that come to our mind are really important. Give positive thoughts and keep good company. Company matters the most. Even if a person has got the best lines and the best hand, if the company is bad, the chances for success goes down, and sometimes the hand shows total imperfections. But because the person is in the right company, the chances for success increases. In Hindi, we say satsang. Satsang doesn't just mean going and sitting in front of the saint. It also means being in the right company. Whatever company we keep, basically we become. Thanks, bye, and take care.